Hello, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, this message is, how much are you willing to lose for disobedience? How much are you willing to lose for disobedience? Now, disobedience can come in all sorts of ways. You can be disobedient, of course, to the one true God. He tells you to do something. You say, no, I don't think that's of you, or you battle with it. Next thing you know, you don't get blessed. Next thing you know, you're under the curse that your enemy's under. Next thing you know, you've got all sorts of health issues. Okay? There's all sorts of things that take place when one is disobedient. How much are you willing to lose? Are you willing to lose your family because you didn't want to do what was right or is right? Are you willing to lose your position for what is right? Okay. Are you willing to take a loss financially? Because God said that at this hour, I need you to be where your family is. You see, those are some hard commands when you've got to give up something that you fought so hard to finally receive. And then God says, I need you to let go of that. Well, why did you even allow me to? I need you to let go of it. And then you say, no, I worked too hard. The consequences of disobedience, had I not listened to the Lord a while ago, I would have ended up living possibly at a homeless shelter. I saw myself a couple years or more prior living with these women. And I said, why am I living with these women? And I heard in the spirit, you are a roommate. Well, why would I be a roommate? And who are these women? They're homeless. Whoa. And so there was this stubbornness that had creeped up in me years after having that dream, because I had finally received this job and I was happy and it made me feel good inside. And I got to be away from the family for a while. And the next thing I know, the Lord said, if you want this job, you could have it. But then you're not going to be able to afford to stay where you currently are. This is why the roommate situation nowadays in so many cities is popular, because people cannot afford to live by themselves. And I was like, oh no, I can't do that. This is what I need for you to do. And so as I'm recording this message, I'm not in that situation. I went on like I had good sense and got on a plane with my husband and my kids. No job is worth all of that. Okay. It wasn't just about, of course, the homelessness that could potentially take place, but what about your family, you see? But the enemy, he takes your mind off into another direction. And then later on, you realize there were some other things involved. There were some other people involved. This wasn't just about this consequence. I was going to experience a whole bunch of losses. And some of you all, the losses are building up, aren't they? Building up. And some folks say, well, I just can't seem to win. Well, you can't seem to win because you keep being disobedient. You're disobedient to law enforcement. You're disobedient to the legal system, that you have certain rules you got to follow. You're disobedient when it comes to what your parents want from you. You're disobedient at the workplace. Your boss, manager, what have you, tells you to do something and you say, I don't want to do that. You're disobedient in so many different ways. And so because you're so disobedient, I'll tell you that God, He is not going to bless you. If anything, He starts to allow things to be taken away. So many different people in the Bible ended up experiencing their share of losses. There were those who lost their family members. There were those who lost money. There were those who lost power. There were those who lost their minds. There were those who lost their way. Okay? Example, prodigal son. I mean, there are the things that we lose because we don't want to listen. The wife, she walks up to her husband and says, this is what the Lord says. He says, go ahead on, sit down somewhere. I remember one of my relatives said that she would every now and again get a word from the Lord and he would beat her. And so she learned to be quiet. And she was telling me this because at the time when I was in my abusive relationship, she said, you don't want to be talking about Jesus and God and the minister when you come home from church. An abusive man, he will get you for old and new when you do that. You got to learn to be quiet, honey, if you want to be with that man. You see, there's those people who they have their rules. I know some folks don't want to hear it, but they got their rules when it comes to being in relationships. And if his rule is that you got to stay in a home and cook and clean and raise babies in order to be with him, depending on how fine that man is, how much money he got, you'll be like, oh, okay. If the rules are that you do certain things in the bedroom and you want to be with that woman, you're going to do certain things in the bedroom until you get tired of doing those things. If the rules are that you are to behave a certain way at a workplace, well, you know you like that money, you're going to do it. But then when you disobey, when you break the rules, when you inconvenience someone, when you don't pleasure them in a way that they want, isn't there consequences? So if you can understand that on a human level, then I'm sure you can understand that when it comes to the spiritual. There is those children of darkness who have their rules, and there are those children of light who have theirs. And the rules should be the type of rules that's going to keep order. Some of you all, you say, well, I know God is a God of decency and order. Exactly. So if that's what he is, then why is it that we got men and women who like to create chaos? Or why do we have men and women who they claim, I didn't know I was creating any chaos when I said or when I did? Chaos is rule breaking. Rules are made to be broken. Some people say, really? So then if rules are made to be broken, then I guess it's okay then for me to step out and do what I want, even though I took marital vows. Oh, no. Okay, well, let's be careful what we're telling our children. If rules are made to be broken, then I guess it's okay then to help myself to whatever I want at a workplace, right? Oh, no, that would be terrible. That would be unlawful. You could go to jail. Okay, so watch what you say. We got some people who they are preaching a false doctrine. We got some people who they think that disobedience is cool. It's okay. It's all right when it's a benefit to them. But let's make sure that we implement the rules and we enforce the rules with those others. Uh-oh. We got some who, as I've said in the past, prideful and prejudiced. Disobedient. Disobedient to parents. Disobedient to leaders. Disobedience when it comes to the relationships that they get themselves involved in. Not only disobedient, but disrespectful too. And when you've got disobedient, disrespectful, undisciplined folks who like to diss on people, you've got yourself a problem that is not going to be fixable anytime soon, unless that person's willing to change. Disobedience. How many parents just did not want to do too much of anything for children because they just consistently were disobedient? So then, why do you think that at times God allows you to go through like he does? We can be very disobedient to him. Think about that. What have you been disobedient about lately? What do you want to change about yourself when it comes to being that one who is not on God's favorable list? See, there's favor coming. There's a season of favor. Everybody gets an opportunity while they're walking the face of this earth to experience a favorable season. A season where God is blessing. A season where it's lively, it's hopeful, it's awesome. I mean, but if I keep doing things that are unrighteous, if I keep fighting up against truth, if I want to go off down that road of lying and covering up and denying and blaming and shaming, all because I want to be disobedient, then you know I'm going to have trouble. And that is what is going on so often with our young people, as well as those who claim to be so mature, so righteous. God says, be obedient to my word. Be obedient to what I tell you. Don't be the one that wants to cause problems. All sorts of problems that's not leading you toward any type of freedom. Oh no, only to lead you right back into a snare of bondage. We want God to do certain things. He gives us instructions, so therefore we need to follow those instructions, whatever they might be. Sometimes those instructions do not, of course, bring immediate favor. Sometimes those instructions, we will have tears in our eyes following them. Sometimes those instructions are such an inconvenience. Some of them even seem a bit annoying and confusing. Some of those instructions are too much at times. It's too much I have to do. So call on the one true God. I want to be the obedient worker. I want to be that wife or that husband that's obedient and not causing all sorts of havoc. I want to be the student who's obedient to the teacher, and I want to be the obedient son or daughter to the parent. But I need God. No excuses. You just say, I need God. I need guidance, right? When you're talking to the person, you're saying, okay, I understand you want me to do these things, but can we clarify some things? Can we make some of this palatable, okay, so that I can easily understand what it is that you want? As long as a person knows that you're not fighting up against the rules, but that you're just looking out for the best interests of the people, the product, the plan, and of course you are looking at some benefits for yourself, they're going to be willing to work with you. But when you just outright say, I'm not doing this, they're going to look at you as a problem. So I thank you as always for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen. You've been listening to YouTube, NM Enterprise 7. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment. Blessings to you.